Okay, hi Mary. This is a short video that Mary Vater and I are recording. My name is Rob Packard. We both work for Medical Device Academy. Medical Device Academy is a full service consulting firm that specializes in regulatory and quality assurance for medical device companies. We have half of our companies outside the US and the other half of them inside the US. But most of our customers need help with 510Ks. And even though we've got a global pandemic out there, unfortunately, the medical device industry is very, very busy. And that means a lot of 510K submissions, both for US companies and international companies. And so our business has actually been growing. We've hired a marketing person. We've hired a full-time summer intern that is working for Mary. That person directly reports to Mary and she's supervising them. All of our employees are virtual. That was from day one, that was the design of the company. And under a global pandemic, that just worked out great. Everybody's safe and at home and healthy. So that's been fantastic. Mary's got a trip coming up. It's the first one we've taken since this all started. I've got my first trip coming up. Both of us have lots of face masks and we have lots of face mask customers that we're working with. But the purpose of this video is to really help us go out there and recruit somebody to help out Mary and myself, because we are overwhelmed with work and we need somebody that is experienced in doing 510K submissions and or CE marking or Canadian licensing. We work in the US, we work in Canada, we work in Europe. So we need somebody that at the very least knows how to do a 510K submission, has some experience. And the reason why I'm doing this as a video with Mary involved, Mary's the star of the show because 3 years ago in 2017, this is where Mary was. Mary was interviewing me on Zoom and we were doing a job interview and we were saying, hey, will Mary work out for this position? Mary was my first full-time hire as an employee. It worked out fantastically. She's gotten lots of raises. She's a full-time employee. She's supervising somebody now. Every single client that she's had has raved about her. I even have clients that come to me and say, "Can we have Mary do the audit instead of you doing it?" Even though I've done it for years for them, they want her to do it instead. So she has a fantastic personality, works really well with clients, makes them happy, gets the job done. And just to give a, where the bar's at, first year on the job, first 6 submissions, all of them in less than 70 days for one of our top clients. So she's actually showed up at FDA inspections and the clients left and left her alone to handle the FDA. So that's the level of quality that we've been lucky to have with Mary. And I would like to clone her, but we can't do that legally. So what we're trying to do is get Mary on the line here, record a session just describing what do you do as a job and what do you think are the real benefits of working for Medical Device Academy, why somebody else would want to come work here, because the perfect position would be hire somebody that's at the same place Mary was 3 years ago and have them go through the same progression of learning and raises and promotions. So what do you think is the best part about working for Medical Device Academy?
I think the best part of it is just getting to work with a lot of different companies in a lot of different areas and getting a ton of exposure to the medical device industry as a whole and getting experience in different kinds of products. Like with software has been a huge thing recently, working on a lot of software projects and just getting to be involved in novel things that are emerging in the market and getting to have like a little piece of that and working with the cool teams that are on the cutting edge of things. And just seeing a project through initiation and development all the way through to market clearances is what I think is the best part of it.
What do you, for people that don't know our company, what would be a good description of the typical client?
The typical client is probably a startup client who may or may not have experience or background in the medical device industry, but has an idea or a product that they're working on, and they need our help to navigate the applicable regulatory markets for them and kind of do some hand-holding to teach them the processes that are required in the medical device industry for FDA regulations, ISO requirements. and identifying relevant predicate devices that they are going to need to compare their device against, and just kind of walking them through the entire process and teaching them how to go through the entire regulatory pathway.
Okay. I know you have a client that you're going to be traveling to very soon here, and I think there are some things that they do that are a little different from other companies, but I do think they're probably a good representation of our typical client. So without telling me anything confidential about that company, what are you doing for that company? In what have you done, and what will you be doing shortly?
So they had a product. They're a decent sized company. I think they have like 25, 30 employees, and it's a pretty complicated software application and completely developed already. And they are looking to get medical device indications for their product. And so basically, we're having to create a design history file for them that complies with the regulations. And they're seeking FDA clearance for this product. So meeting with the FDA in a pre-submission meeting to make sure that they have the testing planned and the appropriate regulatory strategy for their product, and helping them implement a quality management system so that they can establish processes for the control of this and then start to follow their processes. And we've also been helping them with their management review meetings and internal audits, and participating through all of their certifications, stage 1, stage 2 audit coming up, and just basically holding their hand through the whole process, training their quality manager or director of quality to be able to run the show. And they were not coming from a medical device background, so just kind of being able to train them to where they can, succeed in their position.
Okay. And you've mentioned software several times. I know you've worked on cutting edge artificial intelligence software. That's an area that you're more knowledgeable than I am on. So you've written our procedure on it. You've done videos and webinars on it. You've written blogs on it. That's awesome. But that isn't all you end up doing. You have to do other types of submissions as well. In your first year, you did 6 submissions for a reprocessor. So they reprocess single-use devices. You had to do 6 510Ks. None of those were software.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
definitely variety.
Yeah.
What did you learn the most in those 6 projects? What was the biggest thing that, 3 years later, what jumps out at you as this is what I learned from that?
So I think one of the most important things I learned is how to effectively communicate with the FDA and how to get their input early on to plan your project. And we do a lot of pre-subs with our 510K projects. And then even throughout the review process, make sure you understand their expectations and have a clear path forward for how to address any concerns or issues related to your device or the testing, and how to effectively communicate that with clients and be honest and realistic and set expectations for what's going to be expected so that there aren't surprises. And I think with those projects in particular, each one we learned a little bit more, and the last one was really smooth sailing. So the more you do it, the more you kind of get an idea of what the expectations are going to be. And so I think that was a really good project to start out on.
Okay. Like you said, we do a lot of pre-subs. We have all the templates for pre-subs. We have all the templates for our 510K. We have webinars recorded for everything so somebody can learn on the job. But we really need somebody who can hit the ground running here that has done this maybe once or twice before. What do you think are some of the weaknesses of the templates that we have now where, if somebody were good at this, they could come in and they could actually add value like you did in the software procedures?
Yeah, I think there are so many different families of medical devices, whether it's an in vitro diagnostic, software only medical device, or electromechanical. There's a lot of different types that you could bucket things into. And I think we've started to kind of break away some of our procedures into those different templates into those different buckets to be more applicable right out the box for some of these clients.
Mm-hmm.
I think a strength in any of those one particular buckets where they can help us tailor the procedure or the templates and procedures for that particular type of client, I
Hmm.
think would be really helpful. So whether that would be in vitro diagnostics or we've been working a lot on the software ones, but there's always room for improvement. Or specifically like orthopedic implants, dental, like any specialty that we see a lot of, that we
Hmm.
could maybe start tailoring for that to just hit the ground running a little bit more with each project, as opposed to having to make adjustments and review the special controls guidance, and having more of those preset templates would be really helpful.
Hmm. Um, I've never actually been to your house. I've been to Kansas, but I haven't visited you in Kansas. We've only met face to face at conferences that we've hosted. So, what's it like working from home?
Honestly, like when I first started, I thought that I would really miss like being in an office and having that like interaction. But we have meetings every single day with our clients, and you get that interaction and you build those relationships, and everything is virtual now anyway, essentially. And we were just doing it before it was cool, so we're used to it and we're in the groove. And it's great having the flexibility where you can really get a work life balance. And if you're listening in on a call while the client is arguing amongst themselves, you can be folding some laundry or getting more things done, just being productive and using your time efficiently. And just having the freedom and flexibility. And as long as you're getting your work done and your clients are happy, then it's just really nice to be able to enjoy your coffee on the patio while you're watching a webinar. And I personally love it. And I know, it can be hit or miss for people, but I think if you embrace it, and you're at working at Medical Device Academy, you can really embrace it, because, I see some of my friends who have to work from home now, and they're just tied to their computer and have to be online all the time so that their boss knows that they're on the clock. And, there's none of that with us. And it's just, it really is, uh, it really is a nice balance of, having freedom and, having connections still with the clients that you build relationships with.
No, I don't think I'm a good representation of what we want for employees, where I'm working sometimes 18-hour days. But the employees, how many hours a week do you think you work on your busiest week? And you have slow weeks, but what's the
Yeah,
worst?
so a busiest week would be when I have like audits during the day, and then I'm trying to kind of keep up with emails and client communications like around that. And I think that the most I've ever worked in a week is maybe 50 hours, but that's, like I said, that's when I'm booked all day and have to keep up in the evenings or in the mornings. And
Okay.
um but
That,
that is very rare. I mean,
yeah. And I don't think I know too many people that are a director of quality or regulatory affairs that are working under 50.
yeah,
That we
yeah,
hear they're burned out, they're stressed out. And so what I'm looking for is somebody that's up to here. They've had it,
yeah,
or they're laid off and they have the experience and they want to
yeah.
work from home. Um, you don't have any children, but you have animals. That we see a cute little cat in the background. So um, so what's more important, getting out the pre-sub or the cat? In my opinion, what do you think?
To you, it would be the cat, and you've always told me family comes first, family, and I appreciate that. And without it sounding like I don't work hard, I certainly am really happy and enjoy my day to day and don't feel buried in work. And it's nice having the support of, if I don't know something, there's always somebody I can go to that can help me or point me in the right direction at least. And as we're growing our team, we're balancing things out, and the intern's been really helpful. And just having the resources that we need to do our jobs is really helpful.
And like Mary said, in my opinion, family comes first. So we have, I think Mary's the only one that doesn't have children. And so all of our employees in our company, when their children are sick, or their children have a doctor's appointment, or children have first day of school, or children get out of nursery school or preschool or whatever it is, that comes first, and it's no big deal. And what did we do last Friday?
We had a company lunch where those of us who were remote got to Zoom in, and those of you guys who were nearby got to social distance at a park and enjoy lunch together. And we got to all order Uber Eats to enjoy whatever we wanted for lunch and just have a lunch as a team. It was
Yeah. So that's the environment we're trying to set up.
Yeah.
You've also had to travel. I mean, under this global quarantine, nobody's really been traveling, and we're trying to
Mhm.
minimize traveling. If the person that starts is just regulatory and doesn't have a quality system background, they probably won't have to travel at all unless it's go to the FDA for a meeting, a pre-sub. But where have you gotten to travel on the company?
Everywhere. So, I mean, growing up, I was one of 8 kids. And so I'd never even flown a plane until I was 18. So I hadn't really been anywhere. So everywhere I've gotten to go has been exciting. I mean, obviously the top of the list is going over to Amsterdam and Europe, and then getting to kind of turn that into a vacation while we were over there. Um, San Francisco, Bend, Oregon, New York City. I was in an audit in New Jersey and took the train in for the night and
Mhm.
into New York City, and Burlington, Vermont had the best meal of my life. Rob, you recommended it was the Small Pebble or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the client recommended it. So clients
yep,
do recommend good places to eat.
yeah, yeah. And let's see, we're supposed to go to San Diego. Hopefully that'll happen again eventually.
Yes.
Set off with
Yes, one of our competitors is hosting a conference. They copied pretty much the agenda that we had before and have a lot of the same speakers that we had before for Amsterdam. So you'll see Thor Rollins there again. Yeah, but it's
oh wow,
Allison Komiyama is it's her firm that's hosting it. So it'll be fun to see her. She's just a couple miles from the airport. So we fly into San Diego and enjoy the week. And hopefully you'll get both weekends instead of just one of them. But we'll see.
yeah, yeah, and it's been nice because Rob, you've always like tried to talk me into like, oh, take a couple extra days while you're there,
Mhm.
like enjoy it, and we've taken advantage multiple times. My husband's tagged on a couple times and turned it into vacations, and I also used to think I would get tired of the travel, but it's really not too much. I mean, it's the normal pace is just the perfect amount, like a couple days, maybe once a month. Sometimes you have longer than that if it's a longer audit, but for me,
and and
it's
that's
a
because it's been auditing primarily.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there are some times where clients just prefer some face time, and if you choose to want to do that, then
Mhm.
I spent about a week in Florida once a month a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
I was not disappointed come November when I had to fly down to Fort Lauderdale and spend the week, and you know
Yep.
it's a good
And
balance.
and I always try to tell you, stay in a nicer hotel, order a really good meal, because and take care of yourself. Get
Hmm.
sleep, because
Yeah,
otherwise you burn out. And I did 3.5 years of terrible travel, and so I try to encourage everybody to not make those mistakes. But
yeah,
you've listened to most of it and really embraced it and enjoyed it. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that we want a regulatory person, so there won't be as much travel for that person unless they learn quality system auditing and they want to be a quality system auditor. And then there's some more travel, but um, you might have a client that says, I really need you there and I really want to go to the FDA and I want to be in person for a pre-sub. That could happen, but it's a 1 hour meeting.
yeah.
um, and I suspect because you helped with the training for AAMI, I'm assuming at some point here they're going to
Mhm.
have you come in and be a trainer for AAMI, so you get to go in there and do some training on your own.
Mhm.
And you've also done a lot of webinars, so the job has variety, but it also has depth. You've gone very deep in software, um,
Mhm.
so I think it has those benefits. Um, if I think we've spent quite a bit of time on this, and it really it's come out pretty good. So I'm going to close with, if you're interested in working for the company, Mary has a job description, and she can give that to you. On our website, there on the contact us page, there's a way to contact me, but there's a download button on the homepage for our pricing sheet and our services. And on the end of that is Mary's contact information, but I'm also going to put it on this YouTube video. I'm going to put it in the um, description below. It's going to be Mary's email, and it's going to be a Calendly link so you can set up a meeting with Mary. So the way, if you're interested in working for Medical Device Academy, the way to do it is to schedule a meeting with Mary, a 30-minute meeting. She'll interview you. We want to do it on Zoom because how you have all your conversation with clients on Zoom. It doesn't have to be with video, but it's preferred. That way you get to see the person and get to know more about them and learn a little bit about their personality and things like that. But please schedule a call with Mary. Schedule it as a Zoom call, participate in the Zoom call, provide her with your resume. She'll provide you with a job description, provide a cover letter. And if Mary thinks that you've got the necessary skills to help our team and really hit the ground running, then we'll definitely bring you on board for further interviews. And I really want everybody to interview the person. So I'm the last person involved. So if the whole team gives a thumbs up, then I'll interview the person. If somebody doesn't think this person's going to fit with a team, because we're such a small team, if somebody doesn't think they're going to fit, then unfortunately you won't make it to interview me. But that preserves a little bit of my time, but more importantly, it makes sure that the whole team is on board with this decision. This is a good fit for our team. In the job description, I think I put in there was $38 an hour for salary.
Mhm.
And you started around that range when you started 3 years ago. You've gotten quite a few raises since then. We won't say what you make, but I would assume you're happy with what you're making now.
Yeah, I would say definitely.
And
And it,
so,
I mean,
so
with
that's a question you can ask Mary privately when you interview her. But
yeah.
somebody that works really well for our team and has the same kind of performance and really hits the ground running, that's what you can expect working for our company. And no, it's not. You're not making the $180,000 that a vice president of regulatory affairs would make living in New Jersey, but she lives in Kansas, and she doesn't have the stress of somebody that's a vice president of or director of regulatory affairs at a big company in New Jersey. So we're our goal isn't to be the highest paid company out there. Our goal is to be the one that has the best work-life balance and work environment for you. You're working at home, you're working in your bunny slippers if you want to. You can see I'm all dressed up in my t-shirt here. I have my bike in the background there in case I have a call where it's just audio, and I'll be there pedaling along. I'll have it on mute, and then I'll ask a question on mute, and I'll answer the question. So I get some exercise instead of just sitting all day in front of the computer. I had 3.5 years of just sitting in front of clients and sitting in front of computers. I'm trying to do more exercise and stay in shape. But it's a different pace, a different work environment, and I like it better. And that's the goal, is to keep it that way for everybody else. And so you can have your cat in your lap and get your work
When
done.
he chooses to climb my back over my shoulder during a meeting, it's
Yeah,
no
we
big
have the
deal. Just
same
ignore
thing. They want to type on the keyboard while we're trying to do something. So
Yeah,
you can't do that at work if you're in an
yeah,
office, but you can do that for our work.
yeah.
So contact Mary. You take the Calendly link, click on that, schedule a meeting with Mary. She'll send you a job description, send her a cover letter and a resume, and good luck. We're hoping to find somebody very soon, because I have enormous amounts of work and I want to offload it on somebody that can hit the ground running. It's not that I won't train you. It's not that I won't give you lots of time to learn, but I do need somebody that can contribute, so it takes some workload off as soon as possible. And
Mhm.
I expect there will be another hire sometime next year. Maybe the intern that's working for you
Mhm.
now, maybe when she graduates from GW in the spring, maybe. But if not her, maybe somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure you'll want another intern next year too. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mary. I think you did a
Yeah.
fantastic job.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.